did you know that less than 1% of startups actually land the funding they need? Picture this: all your hard work, your product, your team, your vision falling apart because you couldn't convince an investor in just 5 minutes. Scary, right? But here's some good news. That fear can actually drive you to stand out from the crowd if you watch this video. I'm Niclas from SpectUp. I have helped founders to raise millions between their seed to Series D, and I have seen exactly what makes investors say yes instead of no. How do you grab their attention when they see hundreds of pitches every week? And once you do secure the funding, how do you avoid ending up among the players who stumble afterward? Stick with me. I show you how to figure out your funding stage, create materials investors want to see, target the right VCs, optimize your pitch, and keep growing strong after the money's in your bank. By the end, you will have a clear game plan how to turn that nerve-wracking pitch into a big win. 38% of startups fail because they are unable to raise that capital for their business. If you don't want to be one of them, keep watching, because all of the steps have actionable plans that you will be able to implement right away. The biggest mistake many startup owners make is over-fixating on the pitch deck from the get-go. But hear me out, before you fire off any pitch decks, it is crucial to know where you stand in the startup journey and why it matters for your fundraising. Think of it like booking a flight. You wouldn't book a flight without choosing a destination first, right? Fundraising works the same way. Decide if you are in the pre-seed, seed, Series A territory. It's less about checking off boxes and more about hitting milestones investors care about: traction, market opportunity, and real data to back up your concept. Most investors focus on user growth, market adoption, and monthly revenue much more than just a cool idea. So if you have already built a beta product, have active users, or are bringing in revenue, you might be actually beyond a traditional seed or pre-seed round. How do you know? Look at your key performance indicators: user growth, market adoption, revenue figures, or big validations like successful pilot tests or strategic partnerships. And don't forget, it's not just about whether you are ready to raise, it's also about how you want to raise. You can go the traditional equity route or consider crowdfunding, especially if you are a B2C company and want to leverage communities, or family and friends if you are very early stage. All of these funding paths can help you land the funding you need to grow. If you are still unsure or struggling to define these milestones, consider getting expert support. You can always reach out via our website's contact page if you need guidance. Just click the link in the description and fill out the quick form. So that's how you set up a realistic strategy and align yourself with what investors want to see. But what about making the meeting itself investor-friendly and crafting the pitch deck that makes them want to invest in your business? Let's dig into that next. Imagine you finally land a call with a high-profile VC. They open your pitch deck and within seconds, they are deciding whether to continue or to move on. A DocSense study shows that investors on average review a pitch deck for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So every slide has to earn attention fast. Start with a clear, focused pitch deck. Show the problem, your solution, the market size, traction, visually and credibly. Treat each slide like a mini-story backed by real data. If you are pre-revenue, lean on strong market research. If you have revenue, include key metrics: monthly revenue growth, customer acquisition cost, or lifetime value. And don't skip the financial model. You don't need a business plan, but you need to show how you will make money and scale. Simple, transparent, investor-ready. Finally, build a well-organized data room. Because let's be honest, investors don't have time to sift through random files. That's why we have streamlined everything, from corporate documents and financials to fundraising details and legal intel, plus product roadmaps, team structures, and key partnerships. Let me give you a quick tour of our data room. Think of it as your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about our company. This setup not only saves time, but also shows the investors that you are the type of founders who are ready for prime time. It's all right here, neatly organized and easy to navigate. But a pitch deck has no value if it's not reaching the right investors. And that brings me to the next step: how to make sure these materials end up in front of the right investor. Now that your pitch deck and data room are on point, the real challenge is getting them in front of the right people. The average VC sees hundreds of pitch emails every week, which usually means a one-size-fits-all approach ends up buried. So how do you stand out? I have a 3-step actionable plan for you. Start by narrowing your list to investors who typically back your stage and sector. You can do that with the help of platforms like OpenVC. If they are a Series A fund, don't pitch them if you are still in beta. The goal is to align your stage and focus with the right check size. So who should you pitch? Not everyone. Look for those who truly understand your market and can help you scale. Traditional VCs, corporate VCs, private equity, family office, they all have different strengths. The rule is simple: don't just chase checks, chase alignment. Because if the fit's off, you will feel it down the road. Next, personalize each message. Mass emails almost never hook investors. Show you have done your homework. Mention a recent deal or a blog post they published. That personal touch signals respect and relevance. Lastly, leverage warm introductions. One intro from a mentor or a current investor can by far outweigh dozens of cold emails. It's about getting in front of the right person at the right time with the right connection. By zeroing in on investors who align with your startup and speaking directly to their interests, you boost your odds of meaningful conversations and funding. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. How do you really captivate them once you are face to face? Finally, if you land a face-to-face meeting with a high-profile VC only to freeze mid-pitch because you're unsure about valuation or how to handle a tough question, that would be great for sure. It's more common than you would think, often due to not prepping a bulletproof story ahead of time. So again, I have a 3-step foolproof plan. First, refine your narrative. Don't just rattle off bullet points. Link real metrics like user growth or monthly revenue to your bigger vision for scaling. Investors will probe into competition, scalability, and exit plans, so practice your answers until they are both concise and confident. A few test runs with trusted mentors can reveal weak spots you need to tighten. Next, discuss equity and valuation with your eyes open. Where do similar startups land in terms of valuation? Avoid underselling your company or going so high that it looks unrealistic. Finding a reasonable middle ground says you are prepared and informed. If you have researched comparable deals, you will negotiate from a stronger position. Finally, understand legal instruments, safe agreements, convertible loans, and priced equity. Each have unique implications for your cap table and control. Don't hesitate to bring in professionals if any part of this seems fuzzy. When you nail your pitch narrative and negotiate terms with confidence, you are not just closing a deal, you are building credibility that will pay off in every round to come. You might think this is where the process stops. Well, most investors make this mistake because it's so crucial to see what happens once those funds actually land. You have negotiated the term sheet, agreed on valuation, and finally heard those magic words, "We are in." It might feel like the finish line, but it's really just the start. A lot of funded startups still trip up if they don't follow through carefully. So here's what you need to do if you don't want to end up in the same way. First, finalize the deal. Sign all your paperwork like shareholder agreements and update your cap table to reflect new ownership. Tie up any loose ends from due diligence. A smooth closing leaves a great impression on your investors. Next, communicate progress. A common post-funding mistake is going silent. Your backers said yes because they believe in you, so keep them posted on milestones, obstacles, and wins. A quick monthly or quarterly updates builds trust and keeps everyone aligned. And here's one gold tip. Even if potential investors pass on your current round, add them to your mailing list. Send them the same regular updates. By consistently showing your progress, you will build trust and keep the doors open for future funding rounds. Often, a no today can turn into a yes down the road once they see the momentum you have created. Finally, focus on growth. Whether you are expanding to a new market, hiring top engineering talent, or scaling up product development, stick to the plan you have pitched. Hitting up these big goals reassures investors they made the right choice and sets you up nicely for future rounds. And there you have it, the core framework for navigating startup fundraising like a pro. So that was all about fundraising. By following these 5 steps, you will be tackling each pain point head-on. Good luck on your fundraising journey.